Long before the cross was lifted on a hill, long before the gospel was preached in the streets of Jerusalem, God was already writing a message of mercy in the wilderness. He was painting a picture, not with brushstrokes on canvas, but with cities carved into the landscape of the promised land. These were not ordinary cities, they were cities of refuge. Imagine this: you've taken someone's life, but it wasn't murder. It was an accident, a mistake. You didn't mean to kill, but the law still demands justice. And now, the avenger of blood is coming for you. You run, not just to save your life, but to find mercy before judgment. In Numbers chapter 35 verses 10, 11 and 12, God says, "Speak to the Israelites and say to them, when you cross the Jordan into Canaan, select some towns to be your cities of refuge, to which a person who has killed someone accidentally may flee dart. They will be places of refuge from the avenger, so that anyone accused of murder may not die before they stand trial before the assembly." God gave this instruction directly to Moses. 6 cities scattered across the land, 3 on the west side of the Jordan River, 3 on the east. They were not chosen at random. They were strategically placed so that no one in Israel would be far from mercy. These were the cities: Kadesh in the north, Shechem in the hill country, Hebron in the south, Bezer in the wilderness plateau, Ramoth in Gilead, Golan in Bashan. Each one a beacon of hope, each one a shelter from wrath. When someone committed manslaughter, killing another without premeditation, they had a single hope: run to the city, reach the gate, live. These were not just places of escape, they were places of justice, protection and mercy. There would be a fair trial, not blind vengeance. There would be time to examine the intent of the heart. God was showing Israel something profound. Justice must be upheld, but mercy must be accessible. These cities were built on high ground, so they could be seen from a distance. The roads to them were kept clear and well marked, because when your life was on the line, you couldn't afford confusion. The gates were never shut. There were no guards turning people away. If you were willing to run, there was always room. 6 cities, 6 opportunities for grace. God, even in the law, was making a way for life, a way for the broken, a way for the desperate, a way for the ones who couldn't undo what they had done, but were willing to run to mercy. But was that all? Or was God showing us something more, something eternal? Yes, God was showing us something more. The cities of refuge were not just about geography. They were a prophecy, a shadow cast by something much greater to come. They were a divine picture of Jesus Christ, our true and eternal refuge. In Hebrews chapter 6 verse 18, it goes like, "We who have fled to take hold of the hope set before us may be greatly encouraged." The writer of Hebrews wasn't being poetic, he was being precise. Just like the guilty manslayer ran to the city, we run to Christ for mercy, for safety, for protection from judgment. Let's walk through the connections, because every detail of the cities was pointing us straight to the Savior. The manslayer may not have meant to kill, but the life was still lost, and the law still demanded blood. His only hope: run to the city and live. We too are guilty, not of manslaughter, but of sin, intentional or unintentional. Sin brings death. As it's stated in Romans chapter 6 verse 23, "For the wages of sin is death, but God in His mercy made a place, no, a person, to whom we can flee." We can see that on Acts chapter 10 verse 43. Everyone who believes in Him receives forgiveness of sins through His name. The cities were built on high places visible from far away, with roads kept clear and gates left open, because salvation should never be hard to find, and neither is Jesus. For He said in Matthew chapter 11 verse 28, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." His arms are open. His mercy is visible. You don't need to knock on heaven's gate. It's already open. If the manslayer stopped running, if he hesitated, if he tried to hide or justify himself, he would be overtaken by the avenger of blood. There was only one place of safety, the city. Likewise, there is only one Savior. There are not many roads to God. There is one way, and His name is Jesus. This may be the most powerful picture of all. According to Numbers 35:25, the manslayer had to remain in the city until the death of the high priest. Only then could he go free. The high priest's death was the release of the guilty, and in the new covenant, When Jesus, our great high priest, died on the cross, our guilt was broken, our condemnation lifted. We were set free forever. So now the question isn't, do you deserve safety? It's, will you run to it? The cities of refuge pointed forward to a better refuge, a perfect refuge, a refuge with a name. That refuge is still open. The gates are still unlocked. The invitation still stands. Run to Jesus. He's not a distant city. He's a present Savior.